All right. Hey, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. I don't get to go live too often when it comes to these types of topics. Now, I have been covering this specific case for a while now, but going live, I get to interact with you guys a little bit more. It's a little bit better for the comments, and I want to try to have a little bit more of a group aspect as far as what is happening with all of these elected officials or these interactions with ICE throughout the United States. It looks like this is going to be a very common occurrence, unfortunately, as far as cases like this. So what I'm going to do is just wait a few moments, see if anybody actually joins the live. Because I think I get a bit of a delay over here. So I hope you guys can hear me okay. And basically, we can just start now. Okay, so if you guys are unaware, essentially this is what's going on.
She just continued. Okay, so let us do our job. And could you step back, please? If he doesn't want to talk, then you can talk. You mind, please?
And I'll skip a little bit more ahead.
Why are you ignoring the judge's orders?
The judge has a notice. He has a notice. Yeah. You're going exactly against the judge.
Why are you ignoring the judge's orders?
Why are you participating in a fascist take?
Okay. So before we dig into all of this, we first have to get a baseline as to what exactly is going on. Why is this happening? And so this is the local news. The local news always is a good place to go. So this is happening in San Diego, California. Basically, ICE agents have decided to go into a court hallway, which is public access to anyone, especially ICE if they want to conduct their operations. And this is what happened.
Deport undocumented migrants is playing out in downtown San Diego's federal courthouse.
So advocates and attorneys are sounding the alarm about a new method that is being used to arrest people, including those who they say don't even have a criminal record. NBC7's Joey Safchik reports from the courthouse.
Activists are here at federal court watching a process of detaining immigrants unfold that they say is unprecedented, and they fear is the latest wrinkle in this discussion about access to due process.
I'm sorry, I have to stop right here. I always wonder, what are these news reporters' real voices? Because I know sometimes I put a little bit of an inflection in my voice for YouTube, but their voices always make me laugh.
Diminishing.
I'm outraged. I'm shocked.
In her 12 years practicing immigration law, Emily Witzel says she's never seen this. ICE agents waiting right outside the courtroom, arresting people who've shown up for their hearings, but judges were told by the federal government to terminate their cases, leaving them vulnerable to arrest as soon as they walk outside.
Okay, so this is the controversy. Essentially, ICE agents will go into public hallways of courtrooms throughout the United States right now. And again, if you guys are just joining, make sure you guys are please liking the live stream. It helps out a ton, and it also gets sent out to other viewers. So make sure you guys are please liking, helps out a bunch. And if you guys are unaware, YouTube does not send the videos to subscribers. They send the videos out to viewers. So the best thing you can do is like a video so other viewers can see the video. So basically what's happening is this. The Trump administration, they got to get their quotas up as far as deportations, and they have determined the only way that they can get into sanctuary cities and get deportations are these tactics of waiting in courtroom or courthouse hallways.
Once in custody, they're on a fast track to being deported.
Lack of notice and even basic human decency is what's super shocking to all of us.
No news cameras are allowed inside federal court. This video was provided to us by Alliance San Diego and filmed by the San Diego Immigrants' Rights Consortium.
Okay, so just to give you guys a baseline what was happening, again, if you guys are just joining, make sure you're please liking, helps out a ton, and make sure you guys leave some comments how you feel about these interactions. Let's go to the raw footage. Now, I've played this before, but now we can do this live together. Basically, here's what happened. The illegal immigrants went to their hearing. The hearing was canceled, and then this.
She just continued. Okay, so let us do our job. Could you step back, please? If he doesn't want to talk, then you can talk.
That is one of the lawyers of the illegal immigrant. But you'll notice as the interaction goes on, people start to get a lot more handsy. They start to get a little more rowdy. And very soon a judge even starts to write his own order to try and stop all of this. And we'll dig into all of these details. Have lawyers, and I will be playing you guys a clip as to who exactly all of these people are, because there's a lot of questions. Why are there just random civilians in a hallway? It makes sense as to why there's a lawyer in the hallway protecting his client.
But says who? I'm just explaining what we're doing. Under what? You can fight that with the court. I'm just telling you what we're doing, okay?
Okay, so the lawyer is asking, under what regulation are you able to do this? And I see that some people are buffering. I apologize. I don't think that's on my end. Under what regulation can ICE be here? Now, what I did was I did some investigating on my own, and I happened to find this clip right here. You can actually look up all of the regulations of ICE. You can look up all of the regulations of Homeland Security. ICE has a special warrant, and they have the ability to go into public areas. Check this out.
Supported by oath or affirmation that particularly describes the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. The result is that before the government may intrude or act in an area or situation where there is a reasonable expectation of privacy, such as a person's home, a warrant must be obtained, or there must be a recognized exception to the paper warrant requirement. Of course, this warrant requirement contemplates review and authorization from a judicial officer.
Okay, so a lot of people think that ICE just walk into areas and they pluck people off the streets. That is simply not the case, and we will dig into this a little bit later, but warrants are needed if ICE wants to actually do their job as far as going into these public areas like a hallway.
Should we go there? Yeah.
Now this right here is where things start to get intense. You'll start to hear a judge has a notice, a judge has a notice. And again, if you guys are just joining, make sure you're please liking the live stream. Helps out a ton.
The judge has a notice. The judge is printing a notice. The judge is printing a notice right now. The judge has a notice. Who is your supervisor?
The judge has a notice.
Why are you ignoring the judge's orders?
Wait till I speak with your supervisor. Okay, I'll notice what?
The judge is issuing an order.
Why are you ignoring the judge's orders?
The judge has a notice. He has a notice. Yeah. You're going exactly against the judge.
Why are you ignoring the judge's orders?
Okay, so I did my best to try and figure out what exactly is the judge's order. What is he trying to do?
Why are you participating?
The closest that I could find was this. This judge order that happened back in 2020. And again, make sure you guys are leaving your comments. I can read the comments and we can interact together. They can go into a public place such as a hallway or on the street with the proper paperwork. That is true. And not only that, ICE agents can inquire in public areas, which is why you've probably seen those YouTube videos of asking truckers, are you an American citizen? They can do that as well. In this particular case, they have a special warrant in which they sign, not a judge. The Supreme Court ruled on the stay out of mass today. Justices said DHS can deport 530,000 people on temporary statuses. Correct. I was probably going to do a video about that. They knew that they could be revoked at any time under temporary status. That is correct. Temporary is key. And speaking of temporary, order granting motion for temporary restraining order public areas such as a courthouse, specifically in the San Diego area. So if I had to make a guess, I think what the judge was trying to create or write up had to do with something with this restraining order, if I had to take a guess. digging into this again, plaintiffs have alleged that since 2018, DHS officers have attended many federal court proceedings in the Southern District of California for non-citizens, that's their job, charged with misdemeanor illegal entry who have been released on bond and arrested them in the courtroom or surrounding courthouse complex after conclusion of their criminal cases. So this was done in 2020 to try and stop all of this. But as far as a temporary court order, I don't know when the court order ended. I would assume it has to have ended by now. And so that is why I think they're all screaming, the judge has an order, the judge has an order, why are you defying the judge?
A fascist takeover of the government. You're violating court order. You're violating human rights. People have a right to due process in this country, whether or not they are a citizen.
You're literally violating a judge's order.
To everybody present in the United States.
I'm backwards.
You are knowing.
And if you're wondering who are these people in the hallway, why are random civilians just placed at the right place at the right time, we will get to that in a second. Because for the life of me, I didn't know who any of these people were. But yeah, we will get to that in a second. Again, if you are just joining, make sure you guys are liking the live stream. Also, by liking the live stream, you will get my videos. A lot of people are not getting my videos on YouTube because the new algorithm sends it to viewers. So if you miss a couple of my videos, you're probably not going to see any of my videos for like a month. That's just how it goes nowadays.
Violating their due process rights.
Now this part right here is ridiculous. I mean, check this out.
You are criminals.
This is a fucking kidnapping.
Hey, back up, back up.
It is a kidnapping.
Please don't touch me. Please don't touch me. Please don't touch me. You've touched me with your arm. You can't do that.
You're violating.
You can't do that.
Fucking kidnapping, man. Y'all are going to be held accountable for this. You know that, right?
So the guy who is walking up behind the police getting extra close is mad that he was pushed away.
There's going to be a day where you're fucking held accountable for crimes against humanity. This is a kidnapping. You know how many years in prison people get for kidnapping? 20 years. You want to go to prison for 20 years? Keep going with your shit.
I have the notice. I have the notice. I have the
There's a notice right here. There's a notice.
Okay, we already know that too. We know that too.
Again, if a judge wants to write a notice or some sort of court order, I think the last way to do it, and not even legal way to do it, is to write it up as fast as possible, send somebody random, and tell Homeland Security, hey, all of these people screaming in the hallway and telling you I have a notice, I don't think that's the legal way to do things, or the proper way to do things. Ria says, I can't believe this is the world we live in, which is why I make these videos. And by the way, make sure you guys are please liking the live stream so others can see the ridiculousness. Now, unfortunately for the judge and everybody in this hallway,
That's a notice.
it doesn't matter what that judge has to say because of this.
But what about a non-criminal warrant issued by a government official who is not a judge?
Well, that's a good question, John, because when I think of the Fourth Amendment and the warrant requirement, I'm usually thinking in terms of a criminal matter and the need to obtain an arrest warrant or search warrant. But in the
So remember, one thing I do want to point out, a lot of Democrats loop everyone together as far as a legal immigrant. It doesn't matter if you've done something heinous or violent. It doesn't matter if you've been in here for 1 second in the United States illegally. Everybody is looped together in one category. But as far as these warrants, you have to be very careful because the type of warrant that the ICE officers were using in that clip supersedes everything those people are yelling at them about. You'll see here in a second.
ICE context, isn't it true that many immigration violations don't involve criminal prosecutions?
Yes, that's correct. It is important to keep in mind that the underlying basis for a non-citizen's removability may be due to some criminal violation, but the removal warrant used by ICE is not a criminal warrant signed by a federal judge. In fact, the removal warrant used to process the non-citizen's removal is signed by an ICE official based on a finding that the person is removable from the United States.
That's right. So ICE is in that specific situation with a special warrant, which they have to have either probable cause or know who they're going after. This is not them just walking up in a public area. But regardless of all of that, we're missing a little context here. This clip right here, the gloves are off. I mean, people yelling at the ICE agents. Check this out. This happened before all of this.
Back up. Get out of the way. She's impeding us. He's impeding us. Yes, back up. What? Move. What are you guys doing? No, yeah, we do. No, but when are you coming? Are you his attorney? Yeah, are you his attorney? Okay, thank you.
That's right. So some random dude decided, I'm just going to walk up on all of these officers and then not say who I am. Yeah. Now, I had to do a little digging myself. Who exactly are these people? I think a lot of us either have jobs or we're taking care of our families. What is going on? Well, to no one's surprise, let me skip this ad right here. I found out who the people were. I did a little bit of digging. We just got to get through this ad first.
This month.
Leave your comments down below who you think all these people are. And I hope everyone's doing well. And make sure you guys are please liking the live stream.
Court hearings only to be arrested by waiting ICE agents, often without an explanation or a warrant.
This is happening in cities all around the United States, including right here in San Diego. CBS 8's Chris Groh live downtown. You've gathered more information on this, Chris. What are you hearing?
It's happening here in San Diego, and it might potentially even be happening right now, and at least may have already happened this morning. I spoke with the group Detention Resistance. They're locally based. They usually help migrants going through the court process to try to help them schedule these court hearings, show up to them on time.
That's right. These are activist groups. These are volunteers. These are legal officials who stand and wait around and either call out that ICE is in the area, or they film ICE, they mock ICE, they impede them. But one thing I also want to point out is the wording, whenever you are looking into these clips, again, everyone is categorized as a migrant. I just want to be clear, and I am very sympathetic to a lot of these cases, but these are illegal immigrants. Again, the wording here is migrants, but these are illegal immigrants, and there are warrants to clarify that.
Migrants going through the court process, at least may have already happened.
He'll say it right here, watch. And again, make sure you guys are please liking the live so this gets sent out to other people and others get to see this as well. Again, watch, he will say migrants. He's not going to say illegal immigrants. And again, this is the local news here in San Diego.
This morning, I spoke with the group Detention Resistance. They're locally based. They usually help migrants going through the court process to try to help them schedule these court hearings, show up to them on time. They're up on the 4th floor now watching as there are ICE agents, something that I saw with my own eyes in the hallway, presumably waiting for those whose cases are going to be dismissed to take them into custody. Now, I spoke with this group who, again, says that they've been doing this since about 2018, and they have never seen ICE agents in the hallways of these court proceedings in the past. That this is something that is unprecedented, and they've been videotaping as these individuals have been taken into custody. And this is something that has matched what we have seen in other major cities here across the U.S. just recently. In fact,
okay, so since 2018, ICE was not even able to do their job as far as these sanctuary cities. And I can read your comments. Make sure you guys are leaving your comments. This is why I do the live stream, so we can all interact together. Please like the live stream as well. Helps out a ton. Robbie says, or sorry, Bo Pitbull says, not attorneys that act like it. Wow. Robbie says, if you hinder an officer, whether it's ICE, federal, state, or local officers, you can be arrested regardless, but they are giving people leeway. Big time. The amount of leeway ICE gives people in almost all of these videos is absolutely insane. Now, what I want to point out is this, and this is the true context of what's really going on here. Again, this activist group is just shocked that this is happening right now. ICE has never showed up in these hallways.
take a look at this video.
However, the Trump administration put out the hit list. Now, I'm calling it a hit list because I really think this is what this is. Sanctuary jurisdictions defying federal immigration law. So basically what this was that Trump put out an executive order. I think I have that right here. Here's the executive order. Protecting American communities from criminal aliens. Within 30 days of the date of this order, the Attorney General, in coordination with the Secretary of Homeland Security, shall publish a list of states and local jurisdictions that obstruct the enforcement of federal immigration, which is what we just saw. And again, we will play through some of that, more of that clip. Again, this is from the Trump administration. After this publication, the Attorney General and the Secretary of Homeland Security shall update this list as necessary. Immediately following each publication, and we will go through the list, the Attorney General and the Secretary of Homeland Security shall notify each sanctuary jurisdiction regarding its defiance of federal immigration law enforcement and any potential violations of federal criminal law. Somebody said a city cop would lock them up real quick for obstruction. Yes, they would, but we will dig into the California state laws, which is preventing this. And this is why the Trump administration has realized sanctuary cities have all of these loopholes. Again, if you guys are here, make sure you guys are liking the live stream. We were able to get to 300. Let's see if we can get to like 500. Everybody keep liking so we can get the message out. So again, this executive order created this, or prompt this: sanctuary jurisdictions defying federal immigration law. I am unofficially calling this the hit list. That is not what it's called, but I am calling it that. This sanctuary list is loaded with every single state and all of the jurisdictions and cities that are creating sanctuary policies or have sanctuary laws. What's interesting about this list is that down in Tennessee, Tennessee is not a sanctuary state. It's actually illegal to be a sanctuary state. But they put Nashville as the city on this list. This is because the mayor of Nashville, Tennessee, has also created an environment. He's actually being investigated right now as far as these sanctuary policies hindering ICE from doing their job. Now, as far as the context of this video, we're talking about San Diego. San Diego happens to be in California. Now, I thought it would have been funny if the Trump administration just put California for everything, but they sort of did. Self-identification as a state sanctuary jurisdiction. So the whole state is a sanctuary jurisdiction. Specifically, San Diego's on here too. Down here. Which is where all this drama is happening. To my surprise, the Trump administration has not really caught wind of all of this yet. I'm actually very surprised about this. Considering you have physical altercations, you have people screaming and touching Homeland Security. Yeah. Judges are obsessed with aiding criminals. People are on the side of terror now. And schools are allowing boys and girls locker rooms and playing in their sports. That is the current topic of most of the news nowadays, Joe. They are illegal and have no right to be here. I dream of the day when I see ICE agents getting inside the courtroom and get these people out. Yeah, ICE actually specifically does not even want to go into courtrooms. What I find interesting, again, the narrative, I've been covering ICE for a while now. I have no problem of throwing ICE under the bus if they do something wrong, but even ICE doesn't want to go into courtrooms. They don't want to go into your houses. They know that that creates distrust in America. But as far as cases like this, ICE has to be there now. And thank you, Ava, for the $4.99 donation. W's in the chat for Ava. Thank you so much. Hope I'm saying your name right. Are you Italian? That's an Italian name, isn't it? Or Greek, Latin? One of them. Thank you so much. Now, again, the advocacy groups are just shocked. Why is this happening? How could this happen?
This is from Los Angeles just over the weekend. We know that there were a number of individuals, unconfirmed just how many, that may have also been taken into custody as they showed up to their court proceedings to go through the immigration process, only to have their case dismissed and to be taken into custody. We know that this also happened in Phoenix as well, too, that has been reported by Reuters. Now, as for why this is potentially happening here in the process that is playing out, essentially what is happening is that the federal government is asking the judge in these immigration cases to dismiss the case altogether. And when that happens, these individuals who are going through this process now become undocumented. And
exactly. But I would actually argue they were already undocumented. From Ava, this is a response of the unprecedented mass migration of millions of non-vetted people. Don't cry about it. It's what the administration is doing to clean the previous administration. That is one thing I do want to point out. Again, a lot of the blame and everything is being thrown at the Trump administration, but let's be honest. Again, as somebody who did vote for Trump, I am a conservative. Even from a non-biased perspective, objectively speaking, when you look at the numbers, it's just the truth. The reason why we are where we are is because of the open border policy or the catch and release or the temporary catch and release as far as being in the United States, which is why these deportations are happening. It should be simple. No federal cooperation, no federal money, regardless of circumstances. Hurricane, earthquake, yeah, well, good luck dealing with that sanctuary jurisdiction. Exactly. In fact, I have it for you right now, actually. This is, again, make sure you guys are leaving your comments. I will try to read your comments. This right here is California state law, which creates this division between law enforcement as far as making arrest within a courthouse of an illegal immigrant. And let me read this. DACA, haven't heard about DACA in a while. Delayed action for child arrivals has been delayed long enough. Roberts halted deportation for DACA last time. That's correct. Basically, this is the state law in California which prohibits local law enforcement from going into these courtrooms, not only in San Diego, but throughout, where you're not even allowed to probe or ask if they are an illegal immigrant. It doesn't matter. Now, again, what I always find interesting, though, is that the state law allows them to arrest violent criminals, if you will. But again, when you get into the category of illegal immigrant all the way to violent criminal, it always seems like a lot of these sanctuary cities wait until the last second, until it's too late, of an illegal immigrant who does something absolutely heinous. Which is why the Trump administration has said enough is enough, and we have the whole Riley Gaines stuff.
That allows for ICE agents to take them into custody as part of an expedited removal from the country, so an expedited deportation. We know that there has been, of course, this happening in Phoenix, New York. Let's go back to Los Angeles. I'm about to play some sound from you here. This is a woman who showed up to the...
So yeah, this is happening throughout the United States. And again, with this jurisdiction hit list, I mean, San Diego obviously on it, all of California. Someone said paid by Soros. One day I want to do a video on that. That's a very complex operation, and the fact that Elon Musk even called them out is pretty wild. This right here is a very big deal. Now, one thing I do want to point out about this list is that nothing here is legally binding. It's more so warning everybody on this list you're going to get a phone call. That is pretty much the reason why we have this list right now.
It appears to show a man fall to the ground while being detained in the hallway.
It leaves the individuals exposed as though they are here in an undocumented status.
According to a statement from ICE about this practice of expedited removal, an immigration judge has reviewed DHS's motion to dismiss proceedings and agreed that dismissal is appropriate in these cases. The Trump administration widely broadened the scope of who qualifies for expedited removal. Now, migrants without adequate documentation proving they've been in the U.S. for more than 2 years can be deported without a court hearing.
It's just...
And that has always been the law, by the way. Always been the law. If you've been here for 2 years and you don't have the proper paperwork, you can be deported immediately. That is the due process. You had that time to get everything you want to get together. And again, we can put all the blame on the Trump administration, but let's be honest. We know who we can actually blame. It's the misleading headlines and the misleading accusations against the Trump administration. And speaking of misleading, Stephen Miller went on CNN today. I don't know if you guys saw this. I haven't seen this, so this might get us in trouble. Stephen Miller went on CNN today and absolutely obliterated the narrative as far as using fluff language is what the captions and what everybody was saying. Again, make sure you guys are please liking the live stream. Helps out a ton. So others get to see this as well. Stephen Miller, fan favorite. Big part of Homeland Security, big part of the Trump administration. I think he's the highest paid Trump administration staffer, by the way.
Undocumented migrant sent a letter threatening to kill the president, promising to self-deport after the assassination. CNN reporting shows that investigators believe the migrant was set up. It was a victim of a setup. What is the administration going to do now? And this is an undocumented immigrant. I do want to note that, but this was someone who came forward, was a victim.
What wording? This is the thing. I don't understand the category, which is why I get confused even hearing this. My brain can't comprehend. She said migrant and then undocumented. She used two different terminologies, which put somebody in different categories. But now I'm lagging.
Undocumented migrant.
Undocumented migrant. Is that what they say now?
Sent a letter threatening to kill the president, promising to self-deport after the assassination. CNN reporting shows that investigators believe the migrant was set up. It was a victim of a setup. What is the administration going to do now? And this is an undocumented immigrant. I do want to note.
Undocumented migrant, undocumented immigrant. Okay.
Note that, but this was someone who came forward, was a victim of a crime, and now law enforcement believes he was set up. Go ahead.
Well, I want to clarify what you mean, so we're talking about the same thing. Are you saying this immigrant was here illegally?
Exactly. The reason why Stephen Miller is saying this is because he caught the CNN interviewer. And by the way, I haven't watched this. This is real. This is a real reaction. I've watched Stephen Miller long enough to know he's going to trap her because she used two different terminologies. Terminologies. Migrant, immigrant.
Yes, but I am, and that's why I said that. I clarified
that.
But
you said undocumented, and I wasn't clear what that means. I'm assuming they have a fake ID. I'm assuming they have a fake social security number.
That's neither here nor there. That's getting away from the
question.
Exactly. The category is extremely important because you could have somebody who is a migrant who comes here legally and just say migrant. But when you put the word illegal in it, we get into different categories, which is why the Trump administration is trying to figure out who are you talking about right now. And again, make sure you guys are please liking the live stream. Helps out a ton.
Steven, I want this to be, and call me naive, a good faith discussion about what's happening right now.
But when we use language that's designed to obscure the truth, that's not good faith.
All right,
an illegal alien is an illegal alien. They're not an undocumented migrant.
Okay, that's fine. That's another discussion for another date.
I don't know the details of the assassination threat. All I can say, based on what you're telling me, is there's an illegal alien in our country who's making menacing threats. Regardless of the facts or circumstances, we don't want him here. We're going to get to the bottom of it, and I would gladly come back on when I have more information to share with you.
They were set up, just to be clear. But quickly,
so
where is the White House on habeas corpus?
The illegal alien was treated unfairly. Yes, I'm sure the illegal alien was treated very unfairly.
Where?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know the details of this story.
Where is?
That was the weirdest interaction ever. By the way, Stephen Miller goes on CNN all the time and has these interactions.
Trying to obscure.
We might as well pull it up now. There's plenty of good faith interactions. Check out. I know about all these good faith interactions. Hold on. While we're here, we might as well do this, but we got to get through all of this right here.
You may assert there's no waste in the Pentagon. You may assert there's no waste in
Stephen,
Treasury.
I'm not
you may assert
there's no waste in HHS. Stephen, I don't think anyone...
Then why are you not celebrating these cuts? If you agree there is waste, if you agree there is abuse, if you agree there is corruption, why are you not celebrating the cuts, the reforms that are being instituted? Every day that no action is taken, the entire...
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm being just super honest here. Half of the time, I don't know what exactly Stephen Miller's job is. I'm just going to be honest with you. I know his official title... Hold on, we have his official title is on his Instagram, X here. Because he's always talking about different things. Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy and Homeland Security. Okay, so that is why he talks about everything. I know that he was overseeing Homeland Security or helping with the advisory of it. But sometimes Stephen Miller would just go on CNN and talk about everything. The S&P 500 and housing. But there's one clip that I really want you guys to watch. Stephen Miller is the one that broke the narrative as far as what are illegal immigrants doing in the country. Someone said his job is to cut through the BS. Accurate. If these judges are not prosecuted and sentenced to decades in federal prison, then no law exists in America. By the way, make sure you guys are liking this video or interacting. I have a crazy update coming out tomorrow as far as the Wisconsin judge. I've been following that case very closely. Spoiler alert, a ton of judges have come out of retirement to support her. I'll leave it at that. So make sure you guys are please liking the live stream or interacting so you guys will be shown that video. He loves CNN, isn't close to be on his level of intelligence. She seems like an imbecile talking to him. Okay, here we go. This is the clip right here where Stephen Miller broke this narrative that illegal immigrants come to this country to work on farms. This right here really is where Stephen Miller made a name for himself as far as his insertion in the Trump administration and how he's going to operate and perform on national television.
A question about, because one of the reasons that President Trump got elected, according to President Trump in an interview, I think it was with Kristen Welker of NBC, was
somebody said, honestly, Stephen Miller is one of the most handsome men in this admin, and his aura is immaculate. I wish I could meet him in low-key swoon while talk about a plan for homeless vets. I am straight, just so everyone knows. I am looking at Stephen Miller for his intellect, his honesty, and his professionalism. But let's move on.
because of grocery prices. Not the only reason, but a reason, high prices, inflation, especially at the grocery. The Department of Agriculture says that between 2020 and 2022, 42% of crop workers were undocumented immigrants. And in many cases, as you know, these migrants do jobs many Americans do not want to do. So how does President Trump make sure that the effort to deport people who are not in this country legally doesn't end up hurting Americans who want safe borders, absolutely, but also don't want to see even more higher prices in groceries?
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's not your position, Jake, you're just asking the question, that we should supply America's food with exploitative illegal alien labor. I obviously don't think that's what you're implying.
And by the way, this interview was back in January, and it's still applicable. One of the biggest issues for Democrats is trying to defend the position of cheap labor. They got mad about China, creating this conflict between China. Are you defending cheap labor? Democrats are getting mad. You're deporting these farmers. You're deporting these contractors. Are they defending cheap labor here? Which is why Stephen Miller is about to rip him up.
Only 1% of alien workers in the entire country work in agriculture. The top destination for illegal aliens are large cities like New York, like Los Angeles, and small industrial towns, of course, all across the heartland, as we've seen with the Biden floods. Mm-hmm. None of those illegal aliens are doing farm work. Those 30,000 illegal aliens that Joe Biden dumped into Springfield.
I'm talking about the ones that are.
But I'm explaining this. It's important to understand.
No, you're kind of changing the subject. I mean, I'm talking about the ones.
I will give me 30 minutes. I'll go as deep as you want to this. I'm explaining to you and your audience.
I don't have I'm talking about the one.
By the way, isn't Jake Tapper the guy that didn't help cover Joe Biden's cognitive issues, and then now all of a sudden he uncovered it? But for real, again, I hope you guys remember. The stat that Stephen Miller put out, only 1% of illegal immigrants work on farms. And let's be honest, growing up, I mean, I was somebody who thought that was just the norm, but according to the stats, it's literally not the norm at all. And make sure you guys are please liking the live stream, helps out a ton.
Ones that work in the agriculture industry.
I'm
you can come back and we can talk about the ones in the cities, I swear.
I'll do the whole answer. The illegal aliens that Joe Biden brought into our country are not full stop doing farm work. They are not. The illegal aliens he brought in from Venezuela, from Haiti, from Nicaragua, they are not doing farm work. They are in our cities collecting welfare. As for the farmers, there is a guest worker program that President Trump supports. Over time as well, we will transition into automation, so we'll never have to have this conversation ever again. But there's no universe in which this nation is going to allow the previous president to flood our nation with millions and millions of illegal aliens who just get to stay here. And we are especially not going to allow a subset of those illegal aliens to rape and murder our citizens. So we are going to unapologetically enforce our immigration laws, and as I'm sure you will celebrate, we are going to unleash the power and might of the U.S. government to eradicate the presence of transnational threats on our soil.
There you go. When I first started covering politics on YouTube, this was a clip that was, I thought, pretty insane. The 1% stat really breaks that narrative. And I'm sure we're going to see that stat here coming up again soon, because it looks like the Trump administration, they are starting to go infiltrating into these job sites. So we're probably going to see more of those stats. Do not want to do big grin on Miller's face. We need... Okay, Brian says, we need apple and orange pickers. Kathy Hochul. Who is going to take care of my garden? Nancy Pelosi. True. Do you guys remember the clip of the blueberry lady on CNN? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Let me try to find this for you real quick. There was an old clip on CNN where a lady was defending her blueberry shakes are going to be gone if we deport all of these illegal immigrants. Do you guys remember? Let me try to find it for you real quick. But let me see. Give me 1 second, please. Nope. Not easy to find. Here we go. Okay, I found it. This is an older clip.
So, a question about...
I found it. Let me cue it up for you guys. Try to cue it up. This is one of the most... This, to me, is the top 3 best CNN clips ever. Might be number 1. Here we go. If you haven't seen this, I hope you're sitting down. If you're eating something, put it down. If you're drinking something, put it down. You are not about to believe what you're about to hear.
Trying to actively hire illegal immigrants, if you think that's best, if you are trying to game the system, if you are trying to help someone break U.S. federal immigration law, I think if we're going to have a true crackdown on illegal immigration in this country, it has to involve everybody who's participating in it. And I think you've raised a good point with this topic. And so employers and anyone else who's part of this pipeline, I think they ought to be put on notice.
And just to give you guys some context, this is very important. This is before Donald Trump started to implement all of these deportations. This is when the speculation was happening. Should Donald Trump prosecute anybody who hires illegal immigrants? Get ready.
Play by the rule. Everybody has to play by the rules.
I don't want to hear that they're doing work that no one else will do. Talk to guys in the building trades, plumbers, contractors.
Picking strawberries.
These building trades guys are being hurt.
I can't
by
wait.
labor that shouldn't be here.
I can't wait until American women can't get blueberries for their smoothies. I cannot wait until there is a full crackdown on all small businesses, as if that's going to be the solution to the immigration problem.
By the way, she was never allowed. I never seen her again back on CNN after this.
American women picking strawberries.
These building trades guys are being hurt.
I can't
by
wait.
labor that shouldn't be here.
I can't wait until American women can't get blueberries for their smoothies. I cannot wait until there is a full crackdown on all small businesses, as if that's going to be the solution to the immigration problem. It is just going to put immigration-related issues further into the darker corners. We're not going to see them. It's just going to become even harder to solve the problem. It doesn't make sense to punish individuals and people when there is a broken system.
I mean, look.
I told you guys it's ridiculous. And I'm actually... Scott Jennings was really nice here, by the way. He could have gone all in on her.
I think if you came here illegally and you did it, you broke the law, you have to understand it's a new day in America. And number two, I still think the case for total economic collapse, if we have some deportation, is totally overstated. I mean, it's obvious the priority is violent criminals and the second priority is people with existing deportation orders. I think that's the vast majority of what's going to go on, for the next couple of years. And
Again, I used to do CNN meltdowns. That was like the main thing on my channel. I might do them again. Let me know if you want me to do them again. I kind of miss doing it. I did not see that lady ever again. I don't... Jenna Arnold. Somebody asked what her name was. Jenna Arnold. Shout out Jenna Arnold. While we're here, we might as well watch this too.
It seems to me that the political analysis of this, though, is, and a lot of average people are looking at it this way. Why is it that we can let 20 million people into the country just walk across, whatever, and there's no real process for them to do that, but then we have to individually pick out every single person and go through years upon years upon years of paperwork and this and that and the other, and all we're trying to do is send them back to where they came from because they came here illegally in the first place. 20 million in with no process.
By the way, if you guys want me to do more CNN reaction, if you guys leave some comments and I'll do it. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do a CNN reaction video. Thank you, West Virginia Wire, for the $2 donation. Thank you, T. Keep rocking, man. I appreciate you.
How do you get 20 million out with years and years of people fighting every single case? You could cherry pick any case you want. But the reality is the crisis that put Donald Trump in the White House was caused over years and years and years of neglect and letting people walk into here without any process at all. And now you're trying to gum up the works to keep them here.
And by the way, again, the plan from the very beginning, the plan was we have 1 to 2 million illegal immigrants who have what are called temporary stay or passes. They have marching orders or walking papers. Then all of a sudden, the plan never worked out because the Trump administration realized we have judges who are just halting and stopping everything, which is why I'm just going to be honest, we're sort of in this weird chaotic process that doesn't always look too good for the Trump administration. There are some hiccups here and there, but the mass scale of this operation is insane. You're going to have some problems every so often, but the Trump administration is doing the best they can. And hey, $10 donation from West Virginia Wire. Thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. And W's in the chat for West. And now the same crazies like this want to refuse the white boars being murdered. Yeah, exactly. Issues in South Africa as well. Again, make sure you guys are please liking the stream. Helps out a ton. And you guys are making me want to do CNN reactions again.
A lot of them came in with parole. A lot of them came in.
CNN polling shows 54% of Americans want Mr.
November polling
Garcia
showed Donald
back.
Trump won the
That's
election.
CNN polling.
The
public is shifting.
We are a sovereign nation, and you cannot just come into our country illegally whenever the heck you want, because we can't do it to any other country on the face of this
Asylum
earth.
is a legal right.
If you come in illegally, you have to leave. Americans are tired of that. We do not have unlimited resources.
You know who was here illegally with a deportation order? Marco Rubio's grandfather.
All right,
We're not talking about Marco Rubio.
Oh, now we're not? No, that's not relevant?
It's not
No,
relevant.
I'm talking
It's not
about Marco
relevant to this
Rubio because Marco
conversation
Rubio
at all.
used to be an advocate for TPS for Venezuelans, and Marco Rubio used to
I'm
be
not Marco
an
Rubio,
advocate for
let me
Nicaraguans
tell you
and
my
Cubans.
beliefs.
No, I
If you
know
come
you're
into
not.
this country illegally, you are going home. Simple as
Okay.
that. We do not
Listen,
have unlimited
I
resources
think
in
a
this
lot of
country
Americans-
to take care of other
There's
people.
a hell of
We
a
have
lot
our
of
own
people,
people
other than the
first,
black
Anna.
people who were brought here as slaves who came to this country illegally.
They're
And a
not
lot of
And one thing I do want to point out, as far as context, I don't think anyone actually knew how bad the situation was, as far as, with these advocacy groups. And there were conservatives and Republicans like Marco Rubio helping out immigrants, legal immigrants. But again, I don't think anyone knew just how crazy the situation was as far as the mass numbers of illegal immigrants that just walked on over. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up another clip for you guys. This right here was the very beginning, just to show you guys a little historical analysis.
Same as black.
This is January 18th. Let's pull this up. Let's see how things are going since January. And thank you again for the $5. Sorry, I'm just seeing that. Met a contractor that told me that one of his illegal workers asked for a letter saying he was making less to get his daughter free dental. Wow. That is wild. Dang. Again, that is why the Trump administration, well, Doge specifically said we have a lot more instances of this happening too. Which is why the IRS was told you need to cooperate as far as giving data behind the scenes of who are trying to pull these stunts.
first of all, if you came into the country illegally, by definition, you are a criminal of some kind, A. B, it's been made pretty clear the priority is to find people who are here who have otherwise criminal records on top of that, have committed violent crimes. And see, this is what the American people voted for. They want this situation controlled. It's out of control. You've had millions of people flow into the country, including a lot of violent people. If they succeed right out of the gate.
I'm sorry, I have to pull this up for you guys. I have to do this. I'm sorry.
And catching them.
Do you guys remember Jasmine Crockett when she said it's not a crime to come here illegally? That just reminded me of that right now. I have to play this clip.
Violation to enter the country illegally. It's not a criminal. It's a crime. It's not a crime, which is why they're so frustrated, because they really want our local law enforcement to go out and round up people when they could be looking out for the murderers and the sexual abusers as well as the robbers. They want them to go and round people up on civil accusations.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Those folks, yes, this is what the bureaucracy is for, though, is to help sort this out. But you can't let, in my opinion, the perfect be the enemy of the good. And the good right here is to get immigration crisis under control in this country. Look, we've had deportations in this country before. I mean, President Obama deported millions upon millions of people from the country. It can be done. It's just that it hasn't been a priority for the last 4 years. But it is a priority now. And the fact that they're going to get started on their priority on the first day ought to be a signal to the American people and to localities, as you all pointed out, that this administration is serious. This is not lip service. This is not campaign rhetoric. This is serious, and the people asked for it, and they're going to deliver it. And yeah, look, I mean, when you're doing something this big, could you have, speed bumps out there or problems? Of course, anytime the government's doing anything, you could have a problem. But by and large, I think they have the capacity to do what they said they were going to do.
Somebody said AOC did it in a hearing with Homan. Should we pull that up? Are you guys aware of that clip? This is AOC Homan. This might be, again, this is a great clip. An older clip. I think this, what year was this? 4 years ago. This put Tom Homan on the map, and it put AOC on the map as well. This is where their feud started. I should really make a video about their feud, like a documentary. Check this out.
Mr. Homan, your name is on this. Is this correct?
Yes, I signed that memo.
So you are the author of the family separation policy?
I am not the author of this memo.
You're not the author, but you signed the memo.
Yes, a zero tolerance memo.
So you provided the official recommendation to Secretary Nielsen on for the United States to pursue family separation.
I gave Secretary Nielsen numerous recommendations on how to secure the border and save lives.
But it says here that you gave her numerous options, but the recommendation was option 3, family separation.
What I'm saying, this is not the only paper where we've given the Secretary numerous options to secure the border and save lives.
And so the recommendation, of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommended zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as is whenever U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Somebody said, bro brought receipts. Wage, drive housing prices up as they send the money they earn back to the country as they live free on our welfare system. Funny enough, I was very fortunate and blessed to get a house 1 week before the market went up to 7%. And the guy who built our house was a Mexican citizen who lived in the United States for 6 months and then would go back to Mexico, but he did everything legal. So again, you have migrants or you have people who come into the country who do things like that the legal way. So, but there are loopholes in the system, which, by the way, we almost didn't get the house because even our mortgage people were like, is that even legal? And it is legal. But still, the United States is welcoming to immigrants who want to do things the right way, and he pays taxes.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their...
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father from his family.
Mr. Homan, with all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
Again, so even back then, there was this looping everyone together. Seeking asylum, illegal immigrant, legal migrant, doesn't matter. Everybody looped together, which totally different categories. If you are seeking asylum, you are here under the basis of persecution. You're coming from a very bad situation.
Want to seek asylum and go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this feud has never ended.
Mr. Homan, your name.
This has been going on for a while now. Here's Tom Homan on Fox News. I've been doing this so long, I just like know all these off the top of my head.
AOC, your buddy, recently had a few choice words to say about you, Tom. Watch.
And by the way, Fox News, they be setting up Tom Homan. They're always setting him up to either try to get him to laugh or try to get him to talk about AOC every single time.
Time you see Tom Homan on Fox News, every time you see these law enforcement officials doing flashy television interviews, understand that they are taking attention and focus and real dollars and real resources away from actual drug enforcement, trafficking enforcement, actually going after and actually trying to investigate really harmful activity that is happening.
Tom, your response to her.
Look, I take pleasure in the fact I can live in her mind rent-free every day. That means I'm over the target. That means I'm making a difference. Bottom line is, she needs to look at the data. ICE is out. We've already arrested more criminal illegal aliens in 6 weeks than the Biden administration did in a year. The border...
And by the way, the quota is still lower than what they want, and they're still making a ton of progress. So the quota was 1,000 illegal immigrants at this time the interview happened. Now they're looking for 3,000, which I don't know how they're going to do it. That's a very, very tough number.
Is sealed 96% decline in illegal immigration. And when 96% less people are coming across that border, how many children aren't dying? How many women aren't being sex trafficked? How many non-suspected terrorists aren't getting in the country? How many pounds of fentanyl isn't getting in to kill Americans? This administration has done more for the safety and security of New York than she's ever done or ever will do. So we're going to keep doing what we do. I'm not running a popularity contest. If she don't like me, I'll wear that as a badge of honor. That means I'm doing the right thing.
Okay, and just to prove to you guys, the news loves to mess with Tom Homan.
Tom?
This is one of my favorite Tom Homan moments. Whenever you can get Tom Homan to laugh on national television, it's a good thing.
First of all, I think she's, you know, I won't go after her on
Tom,
national
please
TV
do. Please do. Say what's on your mind. It's a holiday.
Look, she's the dumbest congresswoman ever elected to Congress, and she proves that every day. And look, bottom line is, I can't believe any member of Congress, Republican, Democrat, Independent, would want to educate criminal illegal aliens who are in the country illegally, been convicted of a violent crime, and have been ordered removed by an immigration judge after due process at great taxpayer expense. You got a congressman or congresswoman that does not want ICE to do the job that Congress has mandated them to do and funds them to do.
Somebody said, Gavin, I got a Homan haircut the other day, a 3mm clipper cut. Brian, she went from not being able to pay rent to being worth $33 million. Yeah, AOC was a bartender, and even so, I still think AOC is technically the poorest member of government. Last Tom Homan clip.
That up to DOJ. What I find disturbing is that any member of Congress wants to educate people how they evade law enforcement. You can claim you're educating those constitutional rights. Okay, you can keep that claim. But what she in fact is doing is telling people don't open your door, hide in your home, don't talk to ICE. We're talking about people who are in the country illegally, committed a crime, they're a public safety threat, they've been convicted of serious crime, and they've been ordered removed by a federal judge. So it's like AOC and others don't want ICE to enforce the laws that they enacted. She's a member of Congress. Let us enforce the laws you enacted. That's what we're supposed to do.
And if you guys are unaware, AOC was involved with these online seminars and in-person seminars. I don't want to say telling people how to evade ICE, but definitely giving a lot of information on how to be very proactive in making sure you know where ICE is and how to possibly get out of the way of ICE.
You can't go after her. Do you think others should?
No, I think I've asked DOJ, where's that line of impediment, of interference? Now, if someone stands in your way, prevents you from arresting somebody, put your hands on you, that's impediment. But what line is telling people to hide from ICE, not open the door? Where do you cross that line on impediment? So I've simply asked the Department of Justice, give us that line.
Now, AOC has been under threat for a while now as far as being investigated, but she sort of fell off the radar after the whole Bernie Sanders and her went on the Fight Oligarchy tour while they're flying in private jets.
You have talked to them.
And one day we'll do an Omar stream, Mr. Tom. So anyway, back to square one. Oh, shut off here. Reload. I think we're back. All right, now we're good. My stream cut out for a second. Okay, so this is a good place to stop. Thank you guys so much for being here. My internet got a little wonky, so hopefully everything is still okay. Thank you guys for being here. And yeah, that's pretty much what's going on with all this judge stuff. Make sure you guys are interacting with the videos or liking the video. I got a really good video coming out for you guys tomorrow as far as an update on the Wisconsin judge. So yeah, that's going to be fun. Thank you guys so much. God bless. We'll see you all later. Thank you guys.